On behalf of your host, Steve D, this is Bruce Buffer saying thank you for tuning in to Xtreme Lyfe. And now, this is the moment Xtreme Lyfe fans around the world have been waiting for. It's time!
Needed to get caught up on all the
CrossFit
stuff going on for the games. Yeah.
Everybody does. It's been a crazy year. How have you been? First of all, how have you been? Because I mean, you and I haven't talked in a while. So how are you? Is everything cool?
I'm good. Yeah. Everything's good.
How's Arizona holding up with all this craziness going on?
It's pretty good. I feel like it's not that bad.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Believe me, I'm right there with you.
I'm definitely over all of this, but I'm just trying to stay positive.
I think you have to. I mean, what choice do we have right now other than to try to stay positive? But, you know,
Yeah.
It's just a crazy time. And like you, I think a lot of people, myself included, are way over this. We just need life to go back to normal, not the new normal.
No, definitely not the new normal or what apparently people want the new normal to be, because it's definitely not what I want it to be.
No, I hear you. And believe me, I'm worn out from it. I'm tired of it, you know, but hopefully, hopefully in a few months, this whole thing will be over.
You mean 2 weeks or?
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. It all depends. I try not to get too political on here,
No, I know.
I could get a lot of enemies real fast just by talking on this.
No, I totally get it. I try not to talk about, obviously, I never talk about it on my social media, nothing. I don't want to be involved in it, but
it's frustrating.
It's just frustrating.
I get it. Believe me. I have trouble controlling myself on my social media page, as you may know. Sometimes I post some stuff and I rattle some cages, but I'm trying to be better with that, just because
I know it's best if we can all just get along.
Yeah, people are so sensitive these days. It's just anything
Tell me about it.
piss anybody off. So anyway,
well, I know I think about that a lot with my son. Like raising him, I'm just like, you know what? Like, I'm not going to raise my son to be a wussy. Like, he is going to learn to be tough, because I don't want to be raised in a generation of just like, can't hear the hard things, Oh
yeah. No, it scares the heck out of me what's coming, because, it's like, words can cause people to really just curl up in a corner these days. And it's like, that's not how we were raised. I went outside, I played, I got hurt. I got, I ate dirt when I was a kid. I tell people all the time, let me tell you something. I'm not worried, because if you knew how my 20s were, you would know I'm probably immune to just about every damn thing. I mean,
I totally get that.
We had a 3-second rule applied. I mean, eat stuff off the floor. It doesn't, nowadays.
Oh no, we definitely follow that rule in my house. And I think that's why this is really hard too for us too, because we're so not like germaphobes, I guess.
Yeah. And a lot of people
it's like it's extra hard, because I never grew up ever worrying about that stuff.
Yeah. No, me neither.
So you get it.
I get you and I are on the same page, Tennil. I mean, I definitely get that. I understand that. And, we've all essentially turned into Howie Mandel. It's kind of like, some people don't get the reference, but the reference, he's a big time germaphobe, and now we've all kind of been forced into Howie Mandel land, but whatever.
Well, the thing is, I feel like everyone, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about it, I feel like everyone would be a lot more on the same page if the information was the same to everyone.
Consistent. Yeah.
Like we just need consistent information and like information that has to be the truth. Like it can't be inconsistent. And I feel like if we could go back in the last like 5 months and just change that one thing, like we'd be in a total different spot right now.
Well, that's the thing. You know, they're telling everybody to follow the rules, but they keep changing every week, right? So that's been the thing. And then, like I said, I think, we, you know, with the risk of me saying some things, maybe you saying some things that we don't want to say, what we should move shortly. But, you know, the thing is, I mean, I had this great video of this girl talking about just follow the rules. I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't, I will send it to you. It's the most hysterical thing ever.
No, I get it. I'm a huge rule follower, actually. Like I never like to get in trouble, like nothing like that. Like I grew up being a huge rule follower. But one thing I've learned about myself through this is like, I just want to understand the reasons behind the rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
that's reasonable.
And I try to do that when I tell my son, no, you know, I'm like, no, you can't do it because of this.
Yep. Yeah.
And I feel like it's a lot easier to follow rules when you understand the reasons behind them. And that's all I think about.
Why they're there. Like, just imagine when you were a kid and your parents said, because I said so. You're like, well, that doesn't work.
Yeah, that's so annoying.
Doesn't work for me. And that's kind of what we've ended up with and where we're at right now. It's every state has its own rules. They're all, some of them are so silly, it's ridiculous. And you know, I know my state right now, I'm in New Jersey, and we're one of those states that, you know, we've been kind of shut down, locked down. We're almost as bad as California. I wouldn't say we're as bad as California because that's pretty awful. But, you know, everybody I know in California is trying to get out of California. Well, there's a lot of that same stuff's going on here. But it's kind of like, you know, we can't travel anywhere. You go anywhere, you got to quarantine for 14 days. I'm like, I can't do that. That means I can't go anywhere. So
I know. Well, like I said, it's just unfortunate because I just wish everyone could have the same consistent information. I feel like there would be a lot less fighting. Everyone could be on the same page. Everyone wouldn't be in such disagreements and mad at other people for doing certain things because maybe they got different information from you, so they think that's okay. And it's really hard, like across different states. Everyone's like, well, why can they do this and why can't we? And that just really is disappointing to me. And the whole thing is I just wish everyone could be on the same page on something this huge, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
Anyways.
I get it. So let's move on to some positive stuff, right?
Seriously.
Talk about all that doom and gloom crap all the way in the beginning here. You know, it's good to talk to you. You and I haven't talked. I don't know when the last time you were on the show was. It was probably right around when I almost first started this show. You know, I think it was last year sometime. And you know, we talked a lot about a lot of things, and I just want to kind of reiterate a little bit about, you know, you're a 3-time CrossFit Games athlete, made it to the games 3 times, which is an incredible, you know, accomplishment. You're a 5-time regional athlete. I'm going to embarrass you for a second, if that's okay. 5-time, you know, regional athlete. You have won the Granite Games in 2016, I believe, right? Won the South. Was it 16? Was it? I don't know. I think it was.
I've done so many competitions now, like I can't even remember. It's like really hard. So just keep going, and I'm just going to be like, yeah, that possibly happened.
Yeah, but you know, some knucklehead fact checker is going to be like, that's not accurate. She was lying. You know, so I'm trying to make sure it's all. I'm trying to make sure it's all right here. You know, but yeah, you won the regionals in 2017 in the South region. I think I was actually there at that event. You know, and saw that firsthand. So, I mean, you've done some incredible things. You and I, you know, you were training. Are you still training at OPEX at all, or no? Or you're not there?
Since the pandemic, I haven't been there.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been going to Power and Motion CrossFit.
Okay.
It's been just easier for me to get there, and I can bring Boston there without feeling like I'm getting in the way of other people. And I don't know. Obviously, I still love OPEX, and I'm sure I'll go back there soon. I just don't have a coach there anymore. Yeah.
No, I heard a lot of people moved around a little bit, and that happens. Throughout this business all the time, and you know, especially in training. But you know, I mean, you've done amazing things. I mean, you came in 11th in 2016. You came in 6th in 2017. And 12th in 2018. You had won, I think you won a couple events, but the one that I remember the most, I think it's because it comes from some place that I have a special talent in, is the obstacle courses. You had won the obstacle course event. I forget what year that might have been 17. Was it
17? And that was like my favorite event, obviously, not just because I won, but just because like it was so cool and so different. And I just appreciated all the time that they put in to like build that thing for one event.
Yeah.
And I mean that the effort that went into setting up that year was just so awesome. And when I think about that now, I'm like so grateful to the CrossFit Games for putting in such hard work to put on like such a great competition for us.
Oh, yeah.
Like I understand the work that goes into it more now thinking about it. And that was the best year. So many cool things.
Oh yeah. Now I think that was the first year in Madison, right? Was that the first year? I think that was the first year in Madison, because I was there, and remember that windstorm that came through? That was crazy. We had that massive windstorm. You know, and that was during, I think, when some of the obstacle coursers were on.
I just remember being freezing cold. Like I was so cold. I couldn't even, I was just like thinking, I don't think I can get colder than this. Like I can barely feel anything. And I was worried. I was like, man, I hope my hands can like still grip when I can't feel them. Like, you know, that's going to be tough. But
yeah, well, especially because it was a pretty interesting. They had a pretty high net there. I remember just looking at that course going, I so want to run that, because that's like one of my backgrounds was, you know, I have a few different things I'm heavily involved in, and OCR was definitely one of them, especially around that period of time. And I was like, man, I so want to get on that course and just dominate.
Dude, I know exactly what you mean, because when I watched the CrossFit Games, I think it was 2013, I went with my mom to watch it. Because it was the first year I got into CrossFit, and I was just like so hyped about it. Yeah. And I took my mom.
Drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And I saw some of the workouts and I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to do that so bad. Like I know I could do that.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, you want to do that? And I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, I look at that and that looks like something I would never want to do. It looks too hard. And to me, I looked at it like, no, that's something like I want to conquer.
Yeah. Well, that's the commonality I find in a lot of, when I talk to a lot of athletes, a lot of elite athletes, and I'll tell you, that's the one commonality where most people want to just run away from something. Elite athletes want to go right into it. They want to walk into it. They want to go into it. They want to get there. They want to say, all right, I want to do that. Where other people are like, are you out of your friggin' mind? That's insane. So
you're like, well, yeah, maybe a little, but I can't help it.
Yeah, it's just who I am, right? It's what I want to do. I mean, so, you've had, and I think we talked about it last time too, is, maybe getting back to the games at some point down the road. I mean, this year's been a crazy, stupid, insane year, but what are your thoughts on that? You having any, you got the fire burning again? I mean, you seem like you might. I don't know. I'm trying to pick it up there.
I don't think that fire will ever be gone.
Yeah.
I will always look at the games and be like, oh man, like I miss that. I miss that drive. I miss the constant daily grind. I miss being able to like go out there and push myself as far as I can. But like this year, like you said, was so weird and odd. Like so many people didn't even know, like, well, should I keep training hard? Am I going to be peaking towards something? Am I going to one of the, qualifying competitions, stuff like that. So this year was really hard. Plus, like, my son is only 13 months today.
Okay.
Honestly, I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to train and then maybe catch one of the last qualifying competitions.
Okay.
And just pop in there at the end and go.
Surprised
But
everybody.
yeah, I swear to you, I was like, I think I might do that. Just last minute, ask the competition, like, hey, can I join? Because usually, they'll let like former games athletes not do the qualifiers.
Yeah.
So I was going to try to pop in there and do that. But then, COVID and everything happened and they all got canceled and stuff like that. So I knew I was kind of pushing it on terms of just like being ready to compete by that time, because that would have been, my son wouldn't have been even a year before I was trying to
get back in the gym and get yourself.
Well, no, like just go to like a competition, because let's see, Kara's baby is like 5 months older than mine.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's either 4 or 5 months. Anyways, so I remember seeing a post of her saying that she's hitting her former baby numbers now.
Okay.
Or something like that. So I was like watching her and I'm like, okay, like I could possibly be back to these numbers by this time, like stuff like that. So it would have definitely been cutting it close. So maybe it was better that this whole COVID thing happened to give me more time.
Yeah.
But in my mind, like, I was thinking, I can do it.
I feel like, because I kept checking, I'm like, when's Tennil going to pop up somewhere? Because I'm like, she's going to definitely at some point just say the hell with it, start training like a maniac again, and just come out as a freaking beast.
That's kind of what was going on in my head. But then the COVID stuff happened, and I was like, oh man, I don't even know if there is going to be a CrossFit Games.
Well, I think a lot of people were there. And, the one thing I got to say is, CrossFit has changed so many times. I mean, even just how you qualify, the regionals, no regionals, sanctionals, this, that. Every year it seems to be different. So I think in a lot of ways, even though it was very crazy this year, a lot of CrossFitters are kind of like, okay, we're used to like not knowing even the rules until the games start.
Right.
The rule book. Remember, I think 2019, the rule book didn't even come out till the Open was already going.
Well, that's another part of this whole thing is like, I kind of feel like it's changed so much since my last year in 2018.
Yeah.
To where I was like so used to like the normalcy of like the pattern of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Knowing when to peak, knowing when to relax, and now it's like so up in the air, and it's just like, you said, CrossFitters are really good at adapting, so
adapt and be uncomfortable.
Exactly. So, you have to be prepared for that kind of stuff. And I think it's awesome what the girls have done this year to go through all that and like just the unknown of even if they're going to be able to compete and train. Like imagine training your butt off every single day and not knowing if you're actually going to get to show it off this fall.
It's happened a lot this year in a lot of sports.
Exactly.
I spent a lot of time in MMA. It's happened a lot in that with people training for fights that never happened, and they're starting to come back now. I got a bunch of friends and people that I know that are competing for titles in the next couple of months. Which is cool that it's starting to come back. They're actually one event's actually starting to bring people back in. So I'm a little excited about that. So a lot of cool stuff. But let's talk about the games this year. So we had stage one, which was really kind of crazy. Stage one was all online this year. Of course, you had the Open. And then it went into stage one. Anybody who qualified in the Open went into stage one. And, we had, I think it started on September 18th. It was a 2-day qualifier. The first workout was 21 thrusters at 115 for men, 85 for females, and 21 chest to bar. So 3 rounds of that. So pretty much 3 rounds of the highest reps of Fran with heavier weight and chest to bar pull-ups, which is insane. I haven't tried that yet. It sounds awful.
Yeah.
Then you had 1 rep max front squat. And then, on the first day, this is all day one, Damn Diane, which was 3 rounds for time of 15 deadlifts at 115 or 315 and 205, and then 15 strict deficit handstand push-ups. So that sounds awful too. That whole day just sounds,
Awful. You say awful. I say awesome.
Oh, it's awesome, but I know how I feel after Fran. I'm going to tell you. And I'm sure you do too. I know how I feel after doing
I'm hoarse the rest of the day. I'm hoarse the rest of the day after Fran.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, okay, 21 and 21 and just 3 of those rather than 21, 15, 9. Or it's same thing with Diane, 21, 15, 9. Now you got these massive reps, and I know how to pace myself for Fran, and anyone who's done it enough knows how to pace themselves for it. Like, it's not about the 21, it's about the 15, and then the 9's just a run, you just run through. But then when you get it and you alter it up like that, what do you think about that? I mean, that's kind of crazy.
I think that these athletes have done so many workouts similar to this that they probably saw that workout and were like, okay, yes, breakfast. Like, I just feel like this was like not that many reps. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't hard. I'm saying comparatively to what they're capable of.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
They were like, this is a sprint. I mean, you saw what they did. They hardly even slowed down. Like, it was like, let me just see how fast I can get these reps done. It looked like the reps weren't even hard.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Matt Frazier just crushed it. So did Rich Froning. I mean, I there was a bunch of stuff that came out afterwards of they're putting people against each other and putting the side-by-side videos out. Pretty fun to watch. But those types of workouts for those guys, they just don't, they make it look easy. But I think it gives it a misconception for most people when they look at that.
Totally.
Because they're like, yeah, I could go do that. No, you can't.
No, you can't.
You'll get through that.
No. That's one of like your favorite part about CrossFit is everyone's like, oh, I can do that. That doesn't look hard at all. And then they get in there and they're like, I almost died kind of thing. Yeah. So no, I appreciate the simplicity that they make it look just so like, and this is a thruster and it looks this perfect the whole time normally. No, it doesn't.
I remember I used to watch Rich Froning do thrusters and I'm like, he just makes it every rep. The last rep looks just like the first rep. It just, and I was like, man, and I remember looking at some workouts. I'm like, that don't look so bad. But then when you get into it, you're like, yeah, this is bad. This is awful. This is terrible.
Well, it's funny because I feel like I have such a different perspective now because I slowly built up to be the athlete that I was, and like workouts that would be told to me at that time versus when right after I had my baby, I would look at those workouts when I was at peak like physical condition and be like, okay, yeah. Like that, it didn't sound very hard to me, or it sounded like very small, or I'd be like, oh, this can be an easy day. And then after I had my baby, reading back on some of those workouts and being like, oh my gosh, like, I cannot even believe mentally where you're at. And then even then, like my brain would sometimes be like, that's not going to be that hard because my brain was still somewhere where my body wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would try to do workouts that I just shouldn't, like, I just wasn't in that same shape anymore, but my brain still wants to fight like I was.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to say one thing. Welcome to the rest of the human race, because that's what most people feel. You come from an elite CrossFit Games athlete, mentality where, your brain was able to kind of shut down and your body just kind of went. And then, I think what you're finding is your kryptonite a little bit. You're saying, hey, you know what? Now my brain still thinks I can, but then it shuts down and my body's like, no, my body wants to, my brain wants to, but things are just not working right. And you're not lining up. And
I felt that a lot. Different. I felt that a lot. And I'm just so glad that I'm not like 6 months postpartum anymore. Like I feel so much better now. And I feel like it's starting to match up again. And that's like such a relief. Oh, because that wasn't fun.
I don't think we're done seeing you out there. I think, you're going to, at some point, you're just going to throw, once sanctionals or whatever they do, whatever version this comes back as, I would love to see them go back to regionals because I just loved regionals. I loved going to regionals. I loved hanging out there. I liked, it was just different. The sanctionals are a little, I don't know. I don't know that I fully embrace those.
Well, if they bring back regionals, I mean, I would be so pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because we had such a love for regionals, so it's hard to embrace the new thing.
Yeah.
But if they keep doing that, eventually that will become the new norm, and I'm sure everyone will embrace that. But if they do bring back regionals, I mean, I'd be super pumped. But
would that bring you back?
I mean, I honestly, at this point, like, this new system almost seems like it's easier to make it to the games than regionals. So
yeah, it might be. The only thing I don't like about it is it's not really unified. You don't have anything kind of holding everybody to standard.
Yeah, that is tough.
That's a problem, with anything that has to be measurable, especially when they legitimize a sport. And they've done that with CrossFit.
Yeah.
I think the regional, everybody did the same workouts, everybody did the same stuff. And
totally.
It held a standard in place. And now you got sanctionals where, there was sometimes where some of the coaches that were coaching some of the athletes were writing some of the workouts that were happening at some of the sanctionals. So
yeah, I'm just glad I wasn't competing at that, because that would have been
that's a
big topic of conversation in my house between me and my husband for sure.
Well, that's a red flag for me when you got somebody who's coaching an elite athlete and then they're writing some of the workouts, because that athlete's done a lot of that kind of work, right?
No, that is true, but I will also make the argument with, if you're better than someone, you're better than someone. Doesn't matter. Like, you will, I don't know, I definitely have like a sense of like, you come work out with me, do everything I do, but that doesn't mean you're going to be just as good. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's more than that. It's like up here.
Yeah, we see that all the time. I mean, you see that all the time. And there's CrossFit boxes all over the world, and everybody does the same workout. Some people finish it in 2 minutes. Some people take 10 minutes. I mean, and no matter how much and how long you're doing it, some people just have that natural athletic ability and are able to get to that place. Other people have to work really hard to get there and still get to that place. And other people just don't get there. I mean, that's just how this whole thing works, right? So you're absolutely right.
I've been thinking about the next season, and I'm like, man, I really hope they do the top 20 in the world get to go directly to the games, because that, to me, honestly, that just sounds the easiest route.
Well, you always come in good in the open, so I'm
just gonna be like, zoink.
I remember
that would be cool.
I remember talking to you before the Open a while back, and I think I said, so what are you doing to prep for the Open? Blah blah blah. How are you getting ready for this workout? Because it looks like a tough one this week or whatever. And you just said, well, that's just going to be part of my workout in the day. I mean, the coach is just going to say, okay, do this, and I'm going to go do it, and that's it. And
true.
That's how you approach the Open, right? And that's what an elite athlete, I think, does when everybody else is like, oh my God, I gotta sleep right, I gotta do this, I gotta do it, all just for that workout. I'm like, well, yeah, but the elite athletes that's just part of their day. They're probably doing 6 other workouts that day.
That is very true. But at that time, you didn't make it to the games straight from the Open. Like, you only had to be in the top, was it 50 to make it to regionals?
I think it was top 50. You made it to regionals. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that's the case, then you don't even have to really try that hard.
It's kind of funny though. You said you only have to make it to the top 50.
I didn't mean to say that like that. I guess because now you have to be top 20 in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Before, top 50 in your region. I mean, that's way smaller. So,
way smaller, but still very, very difficult, right?
No, very, very difficult. But I'm just saying, like, comparatively to the change in it now, it's definitely a lot harder. So I would definitely not do 5 hours of training before actually doing the Open workout.
You'd prepare a little bit more this time, at this point.
So much more. I would take the open like dead serious. I mean, because that could be like my regionals basically.
It's a make or break right there, right? Where before it wasn't, you know, it was kind of like, okay,
exactly.
I can make the top 50. And I was basically commenting on the mindset there. Your mindset is I only got to hit the top 50, where, you know, there's a lot of us out there like myself who like, I got to break the top 1,000, you know, or whatever, you know, it's, you know, it's the whole mindset thing, right? So
well,
I think that's beautiful, to be honest with you. I think that's awesome.
I'm talking about, see, there goes my brain again, being like, I'm in peak top position, or with, you know, everything going on. Like, that was the me before I had a baby. I don't know where I'm at now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm curious myself. I want to test myself and see where my physical condition is now. Yeah. So
well, and I think you'll, you know, I mean, one thing I've found about elite athletes, and I'll tell you, is that most, you know what, you can get out of condition here and there, but you come back. I've seen it over and over and over again. It's something you don't lose. I mean, if you got there before, you can get there again. I
believe that. I totally believe that.
I know that for sure. I mean, there's just, you know, you don't lose that. So going into the games a little bit, real quick. I know you. I don't know if are you pressed for time right now? Are you still okay? Are we good?
No, baby boy's still sleeping. We're good.
All right, that's awesome. Well, next up, we could bring him right on the podcast. He could talk with us. That's fine.
Okay. He'll be talking for sure.
You know what? I mean, I know I try to keep this to about a half hour, just out of respect for your time and mine. But, you know, we haven't caught up in a while. So I figured, you know, we'll use it to catch up a little bit, too.
Sure.
But so, you know, after stage one, we ended up, which is really strange. We only have 10 athletes going to Aronis for the games, to the farm. Did you compete at the farm? Did they have the farm at all when you were? I think they did.
At the ranch?
Yeah, or the ranch. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, in 2016.
So because I remember they flew you guys out there one day, right? That was
yeah, man. My first year was crazy, and the ranch was awesome. It definitely lived up to its name.
Yeah. So being there, you kind of could get with what's going to happen there. So you got Matt Frazier, Noah Olson, Justin Medeiros, who I think this might, I don't know Justin Medeiros, or
you the one with the mullet?
I think so. I'm not familiar with him too much.
I saw a little video on him, and he seems cool. I kind of want to cheer for him.
Okay. All right. And then you got Samuel Quant and Jeffrey Adler. So you got, obviously the two favorites here are going to be Noah Olson and Matt Frazier. Matt Frazier's, you know, I mean, one of the surprises that you have here is, and I so wanted Chandler Smith to get there this year. I still wanted to see him get there because, you know, it's just he's just one of those guys you want to root for too, I think. You know, Carl Gudmundsson, these are some of the surprises. Jacob Hepner's not there. Tim Paulson's not there. I mean, they made it to the games.
So many guys that aren't there that are so good, you know.
Oh, yeah. Patrick Vollner.
And maybe they deserve to be there too. It's just sometimes whatever workouts come out, it's just the luck of the draw. So
not your wheelhouse, right? So you get someone else. It's not that it's not in your wheelhouse, just someone else did it a little better that day. And that's just what it comes down to.
There's a lot of variables.
Oh, yeah, tons. And then you got, on the women's side, we got Tia Claire Toomey, Brooke Wells. Now, these are all females that you've competed with. Brooke Wells, Haley Adams, Katrin David's daughter, Carrie Pierce. What do you think about that lineup?
I think the girls' side's pretty stacked. I'm excited for those girls. I love Carrie Pierce, and obviously she's really well-rounded, and she's American, and I've always kind of rooted for
the home team, right?
Getting an American on the podium, and absolutely. I mean, that would be really cool. So
I'm trying to think
and then
time that happened.
And then the younger one, Haley Adams, I mean, I'm excited for her because she's breaking into the top, and I've always kind of been rooted for the underdog, you know. the person that doesn't get all the attention, because they can be like the dark horse that just comes in and surprises everyone. And I just love that kind of story.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. Everybody likes the come from behind all the way and just shock the hell out of the world kind of story, and that would definitely do. I mean, I think if Matt or Tia lose this year, it's going to be a shock for a lot of. I mean, because they've been so dominant. Totally. They've been so dominant.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen. Just looking at the workouts that have come out so far, like they're just right up Tia's wheelhouse. Like,
yeah.
I just cannot see her losing with those workouts.
Yeah, there's a ton of running too this year too, which is interesting.
Yeah, and she's an amazing runner. And then they got the CrossFit Total in there, which we already know that she's really good at.
Yep. No, she'll put up some weight there. So will Matt. I mean, that's on the men's side. Noah might give Matt a run there though on the total, but I don't know. We'll see, because Noah could put up some weight too. I've seen.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what his maxes are, but I'm definitely like Noah's my friend, and I definitely am going to be cheering for that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I love an underdog story. Like, not like nothing against Matt at all. Like, I respect like his hard work. I love to see an awesome success story, because I know how long that Noah's been working for it too.
Yeah. And you know what? I love Matt too. I love Noah. All those guys are phenomenal. It's just, I want to see somebody beat Matt. I just need to see it. I need to see somebody beat Matt. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not even,
I just want to see the temper tantrum that happens afterwards. Because he don't like to lose.
No, he does not. I mean, any professional athlete doesn't like to lose. And I mean, I couldn't even imagine like how shocked everyone would be if that happened.
Yeah.
Do you remember a while back when there was like that fake story about Rich Froning coming back?
Yeah. And everybody was,
I swear to you, when I saw that, a part of my heart just like skipped a beat. Like just wishing so bad it was true, because I started CrossFit when he was like on top, and like, like I was there watching him be like so amazing.
Yep.
And so in my mind, like that would be like the ultimate thing to watch.
Oh yeah.
Like I would love to see that. I mean,
well, the last time those two guys clashed, Rich won. Last time those guys.
I know. And everyone's like, oh, well, he wasn't as good as he is now, and blah, blah, blah. But I mean,
yeah. And Rich is a little bit older. I mean, and I don't know, one of the things Rich wanted to do, I think the reason he went team is because, he has a family and he wants to spend time with his family now and not spend all his time working out. And I think,
I 100% respect that, obviously.
Yep.
I mean, I think he made the right decision. I just selfishly would love to see it.
I would love to see it. I'm going to tell you, I would love to see it too. I'd like to see him come back and see him and Matt Frazier in a final, just going at it. Just going at it. There's actually a really cool video out there of that workout I mentioned, the 21-21, 3 rounds of that, with someone took Matt Frazier and Rich Froning, because they both did it, and put them side by side. I mean, Matt ended up winning that workout by like a minute and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, it was something like a minute and a half. I can't remember what.
Yeah, but
but that was just to not have. I think Rich thrives on looking over and seeing where you're at. And
totally, and he like rises to the occasion. Yeah. Like that's the kind of athlete he is. And when you're training, like the reason he switched to team is because he wanted more time with his family, right? Which means less training time in the gym. He's not putting in the work to be an individual athlete.
Yeah.
He only has to be a team athlete, which is a lot less and a lot easier. And I think that if he did train to be an individual athlete again, we would see a difference.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think, you're absolutely right. He's not training, and that's the whole reason he switched up, and he's not training the way he used to. If Rich was training the way he used to, it might be a very different story.
Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of faith in him. I would cancel everything that weekend to watch that.
I would absolutely be there. There would be no doubt about it that I would make every accommodation I had to get out there to see that show. And we who knows? We may see it. I think, I don't know for sure. I mean, I think Rich has kind of settled in and said, he's had his time and now he's kind of mellowed out a little bit and doesn't want to do that. But hey, if he tunes into this, I would love to see it. I would love to check that out.
Me too.
And a lot of people around the world would probably love to see Rich and Matt going at it, for that title again. I mean, that would be awesome. And I don't know if it would end up the same way, but it would definitely be fun to watch and fun to see. And it would probably be a hell of a moneymaker for CrossFit, to be honest with you, to put that out there.
Freak, yeah. Most attended CrossFit games ever.
Probably. But, yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be an interesting games. I mean, you got a lot of really interesting workouts. You got some toes to bar stuff. You got a lot of sprints around. You got a sled pull. There's a few workouts. Like the first one just says 2007, so it's probably going to be a 2007 workout. I don't know I don't even remember. I mean, that was when that was like the first CrossFit Games, I believe. So
I feel like a theme in the last couple CrossFit event or games, I guess, is they're doing a lot of like named workouts.
Yeah.
A lot of originals, a lot of repeat workouts. I mean, we just did CrossFit Totals in 2018.
Yeah, and they're doing it again. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I find it interesting. Another thing, too, is like in 2018 regionals, he did workouts where he like tested gymnastics.
Yeah.
And then there was another one where he tested strength and then endurance, And so I feel like he's doing that a lot more lately instead of like a lot of intermixed workouts, Yeah. It's a lot of like in this games, he's got the CrossFit Total and then he's also got heavy snatching all in one workout.
Yep.
Both of those testing more of strength. And then he's got like 2 different sprint workouts.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're
like running up a hill and then pushing a sled and sprinting.
Well, you've run up that hill, right? So how bad is that hill for real? Yeah, I know you've run up that hill. Now they're carrying, men are carrying 50 pounds, women are carrying 30 pounds up that hill this time. Yeah, and I think that was kind of what it was last time, too. I'm not sure, but I know that hill looks pretty steep and awful.
Well, we had to carry a 14-pound med ball up, which is a lot lighter, but also oddly shaped, too. So, I don't know. I think basically everyone started jogging and then ended up walking.
Yeah, well, you end up doing a heavy, like kind of like a stomp up the hill is what ends up happening. And then you run back down the hill and try not to fall and break your ass. But it basically says a corn sack. That's what they're going to be carrying. It's a corn sack sprint. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there.
That one will be so fun to watch. I love those kind of workouts. I can't wait to see that.
Oh, I'm excited about that one, and I love the snatch sprint ladders. I just love that. I think it's going to be fun to watch that sprint ladder and see these guys and girls, pulling heavy snatches, and they're just getting heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier.
Well, there is nothing more gratifying than hitting a heavy snatch in the middle of a workout like that. It's just like you feel so much power. You're just like, yeah.
With a high heart rate, you're like, boom, your heart's like 180.
Dude, it is just so empowering. I love that feeling.
That's awesome. And then the last workout just says Atlanta. So I don't know what the hell that means. To be determined.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see what they come up with. But, Tennil, it's been awesome. I know we're pushing the time frame here a little bit. We're at like an hour, I think, almost. Is there anything you want to promote, anything you want to put out there? You have a Instagram, anything you want to throw out?
Well, first I just want to say I'm really excited for the athletes that are going to the games this year, and I'm going to be cheering every single one of them on because I respect all of them, and I'm excited for them and their opportunity. And I'll be watching and probably secretly wishing I was there. And and I just I guess if anyone watching this wants to find me, they can check out my Instagram handle. It's Tennil_Reed. check out my life and what's going on. But I'm a pretty open book, you know, reach out to me if you want.
Cool. No, you're awesome. And like I said, I appreciate you coming back on, hanging out, talking with me before the games again. And, you know, I look forward to seeing you go back into the, I'm like, if the day it gets announced that you're back in, I'm going to be like, all right, this is awesome. I'm going to, you know, I'll be calling you for an instant interview pretty much to find out where your mindset's at and where you're going and what your thoughts are. And, you know, I want to follow that action, you know, because it's like, you know, just one of those things I think is bound to happen eventually. You know, so I hope to see it. And, you know, thanks again for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I had fun. This was fun.
Awesome. It's always good catching up.